Very good evening to all of you. So friends, I welcome all of you in this today's session, Annexure SL, right? So what is this high level structure? This is called high level structure. So this is very interesting, right? Now it is called Annexure L. Basically now the L word is more. So high level, L means high level structure, level. So what is this high level structure, friends? So what ISO has done, their technical management board, what they said that if there are so many different clauses, people will be confused. So what they came up with this 10 clause structure. They came up with this 10 clause structure. And this 10 clause structure is common in ISO 9001, that is there in IATF. This 10 clause structure is there in 14001, which is a basically environment management system standard. It is there in ISO 45001, which is a basically a safety management system. We say OSHA's Occupational Health and Safety Assessment Series. Now it is called ISO 45001. So it's common. What is the advantage? To the purpose. So high level structure is the identical core text and common terms and core definition to be used in all management systems. So many of the system standards, it's it's the technical committees, right? It's their work is to align them, is to follow those structure. The purpose is to enhance the consistency and alignment of different management system towards the common clause structure. The purpose is, you tell me what will happen if the clause structure is common. Wouldn't it be easy to integrate? You must have heard of this term. You must have heard of this term IMS. What is this IMS? IMS stands for Integrated Management System. So IMS stands for Integrated Management System, right? IMS stands for Integrated Management System. In those companies where there is a IMS, that would mean that their company might have ISO 9001 or IATF 16949 and 14000 Environment Management System and Safety Management System standard, which is ISO 45001. What is the advantage? What is the advantage? It would be easy for you to understand. It will be easy for people to deploy. It will be easy for audit also. It will be easy for understanding. Some companies, like, they also go for IMS audit together. I don't recommend this. I recommend that you have IATF audit separately and then 14001 and safety audit separately. You can go with the go for internal audit together or the external audits also together, but then it will be too long audit. It will be difficult. So my advice is you plan QMS audit internally and external audit separately and plan for 14001 and OSHA separately. But if you want to combine it, you can definitely go and also do the combined audit also internally, as well as the external audit can also be combined. But then external audit, it become too long. Like, it might be that auditors will be there in your campus in the external audit for maybe, depends on your manpower. They may be in your campus for 7 to 8 days. It become too long, too difficult, right? Okay. So the question is, what are those high level structure? Okay. What are those high level structure? And these high level structure are these 10 clauses, 10 clause structure. Obviously, the inside within the requirement, the clauses which is there within the clauses, the sub clauses will change, but that clause structure will remain same. And the good thing is that if you learn that main high level structure, it is not going to change for next 15-20 years. I believe it's not going to change at least for next 15-20 years. The within the requirement sub clauses may change, but the main clause is not going to get to change. So you have this opportunity wherein you can remember these clauses, right? So let me just show this, right? Let me just show this. So these are the clauses and this is how easy it is. If you want to remember this, you can remember this just by this. SNT clips OPI. SNT clips OPI. This is very easy. This way you will be able to remember this clause. Just remember this term. SNT clips. I is silent. OPI. This would be very easy for you to remember, right? Let's tell me what is this SNT. So this is the SNT. S for scope, N for normative reference, T for terms and definition, SNT. We'll be explaining all of this thing in depth, right? With clauses, with detailed requirement. As of now, you can understand this. What are the names? Just easy to remember, so that you remember also. Because in sometime in an interview, I have seen that in an interview, it is asked from the candidate members, what are the 10 clauses? Then our candidates say, our members say, SNT clips OPI. He remember and then say, sir, S for scope, N for normative reference, T for terms and definition, like that. And the interviewer becomes so impressed. He says, oh yes, yes, you have the good knowledge. So SNT, S for scope, N for normative reference, that means linkage, T for terms and definition. Now what is CLIPS? CLPS, right? C for context organization, L for leadership, there has to be leadership within organization. P for planning, there has to be support. CLIPS, CLPS, CLIPS, right? OPI, what does OPI means? O for operation, there has to be operation, work has to be done, and operation is a very big clause. It includes the requirement of maintenance, production, quality, right? And dispatch, design. It is a very big clause. Performance evolution, right? Where you do the internal audits, where you see the management information system and improvements, OPI. So this is how easy it is. You just remember this SNT clips OPI, right? You will remember the main clause. Is it required to remember the sub clause? No, it is not required. Even the auditor can also, even the auditor also refer the standard. But you should know broadly. Broadly, you should know, for example, the internal external issues in clause number 4, right? And let's say the continual improvement in clause number 10.3, like that. Internal audit in clause number 9, 9.2, at least this much you should be aware. It is not mandatory to remember each and every clause. It is mandatory that you should know the requirement. Requirement is mandatory. You should know what is the requirement, that is mandatory. With experience, like we have now a lot of experience, we have been doing this for so many years. With experience, like we may learn this. Like for example, internal external issues 4.1, need and expectation 4.2, preservation 854, product safety 4412, right? Maintenance 8515, tool room 8516. So I don't recommend that you need to remember this. You can refer the standard, but the point is that you should know the requirement. You should know what is written inside, and you should be able to refer it quickly. Like you should have idea where it is, and you should be able to refer that quickly. That would be good enough, right? That would be good enough. But if you remember this major, that is definitely added. So I hope you love this, like this way to remember SNT clips OPI. And the good thing is that it is not going to change for so long time, and this clause structure will remain same. Obviously, inside within sub clauses may change, but the SNT clips OPI is going to remain same. Okay, let's move to the next section. Also, all these clauses are arranged in PDCA cycle. So that's a good thing. All these clauses are arranged in PDCA. What is this PDCA? P for plan, D for do, D for do, C for check, A for act. So PDCA is a damming cycle, right? If you refer this ISO 9001, so I have not decided that in which which clause will come in which part of PDCA. This is given in IATF standard. So basically, clause number 4, which is a context organization, clause number 5, which is at the center, and clause number 4 is the input. What they have given is this: in plan, the planning will come; in do, support and operation will come; in check, performance evaluation will come; in act, improvement will come. Right. So only the thing is that they have arranged in PDCA cycle. That's the only thing what they have done. Okay, arranged in PDCA: plan, do, check, act cycle. That's it. Okay, now coming to this, how many QMS principle? So friends, there are 7 QMS principle, and the easy way is to remember CLIPPER. I think you can remember this CLIPPER, C-L-E-E-P-I-R, CLIPPER, CLIPPER, C-L-E-P-I-R, CLIPPER. And these are the 7 QMS principle, let's say, which is written. One for C for customer focus. You have to have customer focus. You need to have leadership within your organization. The top management should be involved. They should like be a part of management review, set the policies, set the standards. The people should be engaged. Engagement of people is required. That means people should participate in the trainings, do the kaizens, do the improvement. Evidence-based decision making, that means decisions should be based on evidence, that should be based on data, right? Process approach is basically a approach, is a systematic approach, right? We'll study this also. So based on the process, based on the systematic sequence of interaction of process. It's not that let's do this one thing. There is a structure, there is a SOP, there is a process for everything, for customer complaint handling, for maintenance, there is a structure, there is a process. And then relationship management. Relationship with whom? Relationship with your people, relationship with your supplier. So this clipper, you don't have to do anything extra. What to do in this clipper? Only thing is that whenever you are establishing your SOP or whenever you are establishing your manual, it should have these principle in place. That's the only requirement, right? You don't have to implement these separately. That these has to be by default. These need to be by default a part of your QMS. So if you see this 7 QMS principle, what I have done is here, I have also mentioned this IATF clauses. And it's not that I have mentioned all the IATF clauses, I have mentioned the major IATF clauses, right? Not the all, but the major one. Let's say, for example, customer focus, it is being talked in 512. So it is there, customer focus. So how you will implement this in your, where you will implement. So what you need to do against this, what SOPs you need to have. You need to have procedure for what? Customer complaint handling, right? You need to have procedure for customer complaint handling. You need to have some process for customer survey or customer feedback system. What is your process for customer feedback system or customer survey system? You could have some process for this. Leadership, against this leadership, what you need to make sure, say management review meetings, that is something which is required against this leadership, right? So it could be audits, it could be internal audits also, like it could be internal audits where management is also participating or they are reviewing, basically reviewing. You could have a meeting calendar wherein there is some review system in which management is the top management which they are participating. You could have the quality policy, which is made by the management, right? You could have quality objectives, so which is basically made by the management or reviewed by management. Okay, coming to next is engagement of people, 732. So what you need to do, you need to have procedure for what? Procedure for employee motivation. Yes, you need to have procedure for employee motivation, right? You can have a procedure for what? You can have procedure for employee motivation. You can have a procedure for training. You should also have the procedure for improvements, like how many improvements has been done, continual improvement. How many people have done how many improvements? This kind of data you could have. Evidence-based decision making, 913 analysis and evolution. In this case, you can have data, you can have management information system, right? You can have the Pareto analysis, Pareto data, Pareto diagram, right? So here you can show this kind of evidence. Improvement is simple. Continual improvement, show the Kaizen. You can have procedure for Kaizen. You can show the quality circle, the concept of QC. You understand quality circle, where you make some teams and then those team member take up some initiative and do improvements. Procedure approach, here you need to define the SOPs, what are the standard operating procedure, make the turtle diagram. Relationship management, understanding needs and expectation of interested party. Here you identify the needs of interested parties, right? You identify you have this supplier survey. You can also say supplier survey, right? So supplier survey will also come into that. So most of the people, like, they have this question that where this how this QMS principle should be linked. So I have linked this clipper, right? I have linked this clipper with some of the major clauses, not the all, and I have also tried to link with the documentation. So I hope you appreciate and like this linkages.